It is that time of the year again when the watch community gets anxious, wondering what's to come next in the market. Now, some of us would like to know what to expect, when to expect it, and at what price to expect it. While predicting the future seems like a fool's errand, it certainly is fun to analyze market trends and think about what our favorite watch brands are up to. But let's keep in mind that it is 2023 and a lot of global market shifts might continue. Let's get into our predictions, shall we? In 2022, there was a significant fluctuation in the cost of watches. Price reductions for luxury timepieces like the Rolex Daytona, Patek Philippe Nautilus, and Audemars Piguet Royal Oak are bringing the luxury watch market back to earth after years of unchecked expansion. But we should know this. Even while the luxury sector is often shielded from the effects of the rest of the economy, it is not immune to the ebb and flow of global markets. It's easy to see what's going on here. Really it is. While the conflict between Ukraine and Russia continues, inflation rates everywhere grow. These developments have had a domino effect across other market indicators, leading to some corrective pricing for pre-owned timepieces. But let's look at things critically. Okay. We can say that the rapid expansion of the sector over the past 5 years is nevertheless a major buffer. Over the past year, the cost of watches decreased, but the persistent demand always exceeds supply. So today, luxury watches are still fetching a premium. Now, let's analyze the watch market and how inflation has affected it. So fun fact, not so fun fact. In 2022, two key changes have caught the attention of watch enthusiasts. First, smaller watch sizes, and second, higher retail pricing. Despite reflecting the increased cost of doing business rather than investor enthusiasm, this increase in retail prices is nowhere near the highs of the secondary market. There was a near doubling in the price of the Patek Philippe Nautilus 5711 on Chrono 24 between October 2021 and February 2022, after the news broke that the model was being phased out. Prices at high-end retailers have increased by about 4 to 7% this year across the board, except for watches from names like Cartier, Omega, IWC, and Rolex. Now Zenith, a subsidiary of the French luxury conglomerate LVMH, will increase prices by 4 to 5% to ensure a steady relationship between production costs and final selling prices. But let's not dive into that yet. The most recognizable brand in the business, Rolex, increased prices twice last year, the most recent rise ranging from 4% to 7% depending on the model. But luxury remains in high demand still. Rolex doesn't appear to have dampened demand, as customers still line up outside their stores every day to get a look at the mannequins on display and sign up for the waiting lists. Consider the Rolex Daytona 116500LN as an example. Although the average price for a mint condition timepiece is more than double the original retail price of $14,550, this model has become the poster child for diminishing secondary market prices after its value declined about 25% from its high in March. Interesting, isn't it? And nobody knows how inflation will affect watch production at the various factories. Are you wondering why? Right. So, the watch industry is notoriously secretive, especially when it comes to sales figures. New rumors, however, indicate that Rolex is planning to construct a new Swiss factory at an estimated cost of 1 billion Swiss francs. Did you notice how we've chipped in 2 predictions so far? Yes, we've talked about Zenith and Rolex's new rumored factory. Now, knowing Rolex, we know that there is more to expect than a top-notch factory. First off, Rolex has announced a price increase for the year. As it turns out, Zenith isn't the only one implementing a price hike. Sure, this isn't the news we want to hear, but it's happening. There is simply too much interest in their timepieces for them to not produce more. In addition, Rolex is not in a position to just sit by and absorb the rising prices of everything from raw materials and transportation to employee salaries, which have all risen over the past few years. But there's more for Rolex to deal with. While Rolex garners international attention as a weather vane for the deteriorating market, one of its key rivals, Omega, is seeing constant gains in market value. Despite rising inflation, Omega Speedmaster models have maintained their worth, while a variety of Seamaster references are increasing in secondary market value every month. The price of the Seamaster Diver 300M reference 210 30 42 20 01 001 in current manufacture, for instance, has increased by 9.9% year over year. Since the start of its Moonswatch partnership with the Swatch brand, Omega has also seen a surge in demand. Thousands of people queued up outside stores this spring in the hopes of purchasing one of the 12 planetary models. The demand continues to linger many months later, and the Moonswatch, despite or perhaps even because of its botched release, has developed a new following of watch aficionados. For the sector to weather the current and future market volatility, convincing first-time buyers to become repeat customers is essential, something we are positive Rolex will have no problem with. Also, we believe that the dress watch might be all up in our faces soon. Sports watches, let's be honest, have been all the rage for a while now. It's easy to see why. Several of them function as a one-watch collection and are incredibly adaptable. However, this demand has caused some high prices, and despite the market softening during 2022, they are still high. More thinking will go into luxury purchases for most, and with that, spending RRP on a watch to beat a waiting list starts to sound even more doubtful. This should help reduce the profitability of the black market while encouraging shoppers to go elsewhere for lower pricing. Here is where the dress watch wear comes in. Dress watches are a staple in the collections of most major watchmakers, and they are rarely featured in advertising and hence sell at a discount. That doesn't mean their engineering is any less impressive or that they are inferior motions or looks, though. We believe this will be realized and we'll see demand start to go up. The second school of thought is with harsher economic conditions. Stealth wealth becomes more desirable. So let us explain what we mean. It's becoming less popular to flaunt your money in front of others, whether it's co-workers, friends, in-laws, or the general public. Now, there has been an increase in watch theft in metropolitan areas, which has been widely publicized. Dress watches typically fall under the category of being subtly stylish. Thus, this further helps our prediction that this will be in demand. Then, we believe case sizes will fall. This is something we are already observing, and while there does not appear to be much of a change under the 40mm case size, we anticipate this subcategory to continue to expand. Timepieces that are too large for certain men's wrists are getting greater media attention, and more men are feeling comfortable wearing smaller watches. More people are seeing the advantages of a smaller watch as the trend toward vintage timepieces continues, and if dress watches make a comeback, they will likely be on the smaller side as well. In addition, there may be another movement for slightly smaller clocks if the 1980s become the next fashion inspiration. So good news for those with smaller wrists, right? Anyway, case sizes or not, we strongly believe that we shall be seeing more colourful dials, including white. We anticipate a larger variety of colours being employed in watches across pricing points. It's no secret that the flashy Rolex Oyster Perpetuals were a huge success. Many other watchmakers have since imitated their design. The following are only a few examples: the Omega Aqua Terra, the green and burgundy Tag Heuer Monacos, the green and brown IWC Pilots watches, the pastel-coloured Zinn watch 556s, etc. This is merely the beginning of a long list. The brightly coloured gauges are proving to be a popular subject for images on social media. Workplace dress codes have relaxed, and once taboo bright colours can now be worn to formal events. To some extent, or perhaps even generally, smart casual dress has become the norm in many fields, leading to greater individual autonomy and expression. Watch manufacturers are catching on to the fact that dark business suits are no longer the norm. Let us not forget that the expansion of our right to speak freely has affected all aspects of our lives, not simply the workplace. But it won't be all colour everywhere. We also think white dials will become more common. However, we think that white dials stand to gain if interest in dressed watches recovers. Anyway, whether these things happen or not, it should be an interesting year for the watch market. At least we hope so.